So yes, I'm happy to introduce you to a brand new framework called the Stable Framework. And just a little bit of background. Of course, we are short on time. I've spent a lot of time working in the industry. The last 10 years, I've been consulting and instructing. I teach Agile classes. I teach PDA classes. I teach ITIL classes, and I've done a lot of particularly consulting in the manufacturing world with Lean and software implementations. And something that has occurred to me as I've talked to these different groups, I bring them in my classes, and they say that their management team sent them in to learn Agile because, of course, Agile has transformed the industry. And we talk about what they do and their needs, and I reflect on my own experience doing operations in a development environment. We didn't have a name for it back then, but we know we had these other things we had to do along with developing software. And the comments all seem the same from these groups. They say Agile is really good, but it's not a perfect fit. We can use a lot of the components in Agile, but there are some things that really don't fit very well. And after several years of hearing this, I finally realized that the industry needs a solution that really fits for the DevOps groups, and that also could work for operations and implementation teams as well. And so fundamentally, here's what's different between developing software versus a DevOps group that is actually supporting the software. In development, it's all about creativity and building something new that doesn't exist before. Doing the right new thing, trying to get the next killer product. You want to get to know the customers so you can improve their life and improve their workflow and solve problems for them. And Agile taught us to involve the customer. It's one of the big additions that Agile brought to software development, was involving the customer all the way through the process, not just at the beginning and the end only. And of course, you're trying to, build accurate products that help people that fit their need, that don't almost fit their need, because they'll pick a better product that fits their need if you're not really accurate. And so, like I say, you're rewarded by relevance with your product in the marketplace, and that's kind of what development's about. But DevOps is really different. It's about sustainability. You first define your processes and your environments, and then you repeat them over and over again. And of course, where we can, we automate and we simplify, like some of the comments made earlier, and we try to get better and better. We're always looking into the market at best practices and things that can help us get better at our game. In manufacturing, they have a lot of similar challenges. The Toyota production system helped us understand that really the key to quality is to not doing the wrong thing all the way through the value stream. So you want to execute each step of the value stream with no mistakes along the way. And that's really what a good quality framework enables a group to do. To summarize, basically in development, every step is new and different, whereas in DevOps, we really live in an ecosystem of repeatable steps. And what we're trying to do is make sure they're the right steps and then execute them without error as we deliver value in our own value stream of DevOps. So these are some of the problems that DevOps teams encounter. Sometimes they don't know what that process is. It's a brand new company. They have a brand new product. Things change, technologies advance, and so they always have to shift. And it may be that their process maturity is pretty low. That's pretty common, actually. Or if they're a larger company, they usually don't really have that problem anymore. Mistakes get made along the way. It's always humorous to me to listen to different companies' challenges. Some companies, they know they've got to shut off some systems in order to push to production. Sometimes they forget to turn all of those back on again. And so they have strange problems later in production. They got to go back and fix something. False starts and rollbacks, those create what we call rework, sometimes scrapped work. Those are manufacturing terms. Insufficient testing, we go through all of the gyrations of doing a deployment and then discover we got to do another one really fast because there was a problem that wasn't found in testing. Inconsistent documentation. If you really want to challenge yourself, go to the internet and look up how to center an image in Microsoft Word. The problem is there's a different way to do it in Word 2003, 2007, 2016, 2000, it's all different. And so there's a whole bunch of rotten information that is out there that needs to really be house kept. Support desk, a good environment, your support desk is up to date with the latest information as it gets, latest builds as it get deployed. Also, tribal knowledge is the lifeline of a lot of tech groups, and although it's there and common, we really want to transition that into institutional knowledge. That's really how a company improves, by systematizing their steps and then making it so that knowledge gain can be added to that systemization so that everybody benefits, not just that one individual that knows a trick or a secret, and then they move on to some other company and we've lost their information. So tribal knowledge is always a high-risk environment, and we want to be able to convert that to institutional knowledge. Incongruent handoffs, sometimes you don't get everything you need and you move forward and realize that you're missing something, and so all of your efforts are wasted from the handoff to where you are right now. And then prioritization issues. Part of DevOps is dealing with daily production requests, and sometimes it's challenging to prioritize where to fit those in with the work of the day. And so all of this really equates to lost time and money. And I call this a hidden factory in IT. And it's a manufacturing term. It means all of the waste, all of the scrap, all of the rework, and even the warranty calls that companies have to pay for when a product or a service isn't performing correctly and customer complains. So what we want to do in DevOps is we want to deliver accurately what the customer wants, but do it for less time and money over time. And so we're always looking for a continuous improvement, ways to do the same thing, but for less money, fewer people involved, and quicker if possible, so we're freed up to do other activities as well. So a perfect scenario would be where the team's able to perform all their DevOps tasks, and they're able to do it, define processes with zero errors or omissions in how they execute, zero rollbacks necessary, releases that don't have to have a hot fix that comes out right after it, that documentation that matches the current release that just went out the door, having an informed support team, having institutional knowledge instead of tribal knowledge that builds on itself over time, and then stable handoffs throughout the entire value stream. So you can't get to this place overnight, but with some techniques and some structure in place, you can get there. This is really the secret to what we call the Toyota production system, what we call lean in Western world today. And so they've shown us that really the key to quality is doing the right work and doing the work right. And what they've done is they've created a quality system around every single step in their value streams. And that's really what we're going to get to here. So we've learned that Agile has some wonderful elements that are extremely helpful. The concept of how we work has been proven and it works great. The sprint cycles and the daily stand-ups and all of that. So if there's some way to combine that with what we've learned from manufacturing in the Toyota production system about quality circles and what we call lean here in the West, if we could put that all together, what we'd end up with is a way to involve customers, work in teams, maximize flow, and minimize rework. And that's what the stable framework is all about. So I can't go into all of it here, but I can give you a brief introduction to what it is. So we have a master cycle. In DevOps, we're not really sprinting anywhere. We don't have this big stack of work to accomplish. Instead, what we're doing is as work comes to us, we're executing it. And so it's a little bit of a different environment. Kanban system works very well for environments like that. And something that really helped me understand the Kanban process better was if you think about a 4-week sprint, a 3-week sprint, a 2-week sprint, a 1-week sprint, and then a 0-week sprint, think of a Kanban as a 0-week sprint. So you're still moving your work through the columns of your Kanban board, but you could get new tasks immediately, and as soon as you finish whatever you were working on, you just grab from the fresh, updated list of objectives and start the next objective. And if you think about it like that, it's easy to understand how Kanban is actually a better fit than a sprint board for a DevOps team. So we have a cycle planning meeting, a cycle review meeting, a cycle retrospective meeting, and we have a daily Kaizen stand-up meeting. Part of the continuous improvement effort is Kaizen. A lot of people don't understand what Kaizen means. It doesn't mean innovative improvement. It means incremental improvement. It means polish. It means making something better while spending as little money as possible. So we create a culture of improvement. So one of the things that, one of the additional questions in the stand-up meeting, in addition to the typical Scrum stand-up questions, the fourth question we ask ourselves is, how have we improved our environment today? And in addition, at the end of the master cycle and in a cycle retrospective meeting, the team brainstorms what they can improve in their environment during the next master cycle. I mentioned that the team is Kanban based, and there's something new introduced here that doesn't exist in Agile called kata cards. Kata cards are, think of them as certificates that the work was performed correctly in whoever is showing up to give you their work package in the value stream. So your supplier is going to, they're going to certify that their work is complete and they've done everything that they know they need to do as they hand the work off to you, and then you're able to move forward with it. Another way to think of a kata card is like a super checklist. So it's a checklist of things that are needed, but it's also a checklist of risks that have things that have failed in the past that you're aware of get added to the kata card, so that going forward, nobody will ever repeat that problem in the future. And so these kata cards are owned by the process owners, and they can get added to over time. A couple more elements in the stable framework. There's a master chief. You could think of the master chief as like the ops manager or the DevOps manager. They're responsible. They're the custodian for the structure of the environment. They're also the custodian for the kata cards that get collected. Process owners are empowered agents. They own each step of the process that they're involved in, and they're responsible for making sure that the incoming information is what it should be, which is really making sure the kata card is in place, and then adding on to the kata card or populating their own kata card as they use their work product and deliver it to the next step of the value stream that they're involved in, whether that's another operator, another process owner, I should say, or if it's at the end of the value stream, they give a stack of kata cards to the master chief for filing. So lastly here, there are 5 values in stable: respect people and improve systems. So when a mistake is made, we don't punish people. We brainstorm ways to improve the system so that that mistake can never get made again. Maybe we add something to a kata card. Maybe we automate some kind of process. Speak with data. So use data to make decisions. Accountability is binary. It was either done or it wasn't. It's pretty straightforward. Repetition with reflection and change bring improvement. So when something needs to change, we don't just talk about it. After we talk about it, we identify what in our environment needs to change in order for that improvement to manifest itself. And then finally, a philosophy that everything can be improved. This is one of the things that Toyota learned, is they said over time they discovered everything can be improved. If you have that attitude, you can find improvements in lots of places you never even dreamed of before. So in summary, how stable helps DevOps teams. It provides structure for them. There's a past domain, a present domain, and a future domain that they work within, and that's the structure that the stable master chief is challenged with creating. They're accountable for the service levels of the different value streams that they're responsible for. And so part of the reporting is, did we achieve the service level for this particular process today? Minimizes rework. So as they work with Kata cards, it's a proven technique. All these quality systems, ISO 9000, etc., they all use a similar kind of technique. It works really well. The IT world has not discovered this yet. Continuous improvement is, through Kaizen, through Kaizen projects, through Kaizen comments at the Kaizen stand-up meeting every day. The team grows a culture of always wanting to improve things. Participants in the framework are encouraged to improve themselves through self-study and continuous learning. And they're also encouraged every day to clean their work environment for 10 minutes after the stand-up meeting. Performance transparency. So in the stable framework, all of the different key performance indicators roll up to quarterly review reports that can be brought to quarterly business review meetings. So we report on, are we able, as a team, are we able to meet all of our service levels as we're challenged with. And then all of this provides better customer experience. They have fewer failures, fewer interruptions, and all of this brings happier team members and happier management as they see that they're able to increase their customer satisfaction, increase their relationship with their customers, and increase things like the Net Promoter Scores, which are really a more important statistic than even customer satisfaction. And with that, I want to emphasize that there's a book available now called The Stable Framework, and you can learn more about it there.